Hey, thanks for joining us. Okay, my number one secret for helping athletes to go from being just average to being big time playmakers, like I mentioned before, is by utilizing the process that I have written on this board here, and I'll go through with you. Now, before I do that, I want to just bring your awareness to the fact that most coaches and strength and conditioning coaches and parents, well-meaning parents who are trying to help their athletes get stronger and faster for their sports, usually have this triangle upside down, and I'll tell you what I mean. Up at the top, you see where it says sports specific. This is where, if you're a baseball player, you're doing drills that are specific to baseballs, throwing balls, swinging the bat, things of that nature. If you're a football player, you're doing things like hitting the pads and running short sprints, analogous to the things that you would do on the playing field. Well, that's way at the top of this pyramid because it's really the icing on the cake. You get really good at your specific sport, hence the term sport specific, when you've got this solid foundation that most athletes lack. And once this is solid, this is just a given. So here's what we do here at Strength Camp, and what I suggest that you should do if you're training your athletes at home or at a gym. We start with strength and balance. So again, one of the first things that parents and coaches come to me and they wonder is like, how can I get my athletes faster? We'd like to get a little quicker. Well, recognize that strength and balance, and I'll talk about balance in a moment, is the foundation, and speed, sports-specific strength, and things of this nature are just an expression of your physical strength. And balance, on the other hand, also isn't just like standing on one leg type balance or balance beam type balance. This is muscular balance. See, what happens is a lot of times with athletes that have been playing a sport for a long time, doing a lot of sport-specific drills, namely athletes like baseball players or tennis players or athletes that are unilateral, basically swinging or moving in one direction with one arm over another, end up having lots of muscular imbalances. And the stability that's provided by developing strength is compromised by these muscular imbalances. So what we have to do is we have to strengthen the muscles that have been misused and underused, and stretch the muscles that have been overused. So for example, a lot of athletes come here with rounded shoulders because the things that they do either in the gym at school, or they do it at Gold's Gym if they're going there, are pressing type exercises, lots of push-ups and things like that. Or if they're baseball players, they're throwing, just a lot of forward type movement. So they're in flexion. So what we got to do to create that balance that I'm speaking about in this foundation is do a lot of extension exercises, building up the low back, building up the upper back, building up the hamstring and the glutes. These are muscles all on the back side of the body that get completely ignored, and in actuality are the engine that drive the athlete forward. Once this foundation is established, which I've got to be completely honest with you, for the most part takes years to develop, then we start working on explosive power. And explosive power, once you've got a stable body that's balanced, is things like box jumps and medicine ball work, broad jumps, vertical jumps, short sprints, things that get athletes moving very quickly for a short period of time, which is analogous to a lot of the sports that you're playing. If you're a tennis player, it's a lot of short sprints. Football, it's a lot of short sprints. Baseball, a lot of short sprints. Field hockey, things of this nature. Soccer, short sprints. So once there's some sort of balance and strength situated, then we work on explosive power. Here at Strength Camp, this is usually after the first 6 weeks or so, granted that there are no severe imbalances. Then comes speed and quickness. And this is where you work on the drills that most coaches and athletes start doing way too early. And it's almost like a waste of time, quite frankly. So you're doing a lot of speed and agility drills, moving back and forth, side to side, a lot of footwork drills when you're developing that quickness in the athlete. But again, remember, its expression is minimized by having a very low level of foundation here. Also, if you're an athlete that's a multi-sport athlete and you're playing basketball and then one season football, one season, and then baseball another season, then you're probably spending a lot of time up here anyway. So when you're going to do your foundation training, or the type of training that we do here at Strength Camp, it's going to be centered on these two foundations. Now, I think I already explained this, but basically you're going from what we call GPP, or general physical preparedness, just becoming a better overall athlete, to specific, or SPP, sports physical, or specific physical preparedness. So we want to make sure that we establish this foundation before doing a lot of the fancy things that you see most coaches and athletes doing way before their general physical preparedness is there. And this also includes like endurance training and what I like to call conditioning. Now, here's the fire that drives all of this, the spark that gets this fire going. The thing that I value and we value here at Strength Camp and look at is the most important aspect of taking a mediocre athlete and turning him into an incredible athlete, taking an incredible athlete and turning him into a world-class athlete, is this word down here, attitude. Now, we've come across several athletes here that had great potential, but their attitude was terrible. Well, first of all, this is not a program for athletes like that. This is a program for athletes that have an attitude of hard work, of discipline, and a willingness to do whatever it takes in order to achieve their goals. And that means in school and in life as well. How do you develop that type of an athlete or that type of an attitude in a young athlete, especially if it's lacking? Well, there are a few things that we consider and that we focus on here. And number one is coaching and mentors. The truth is, like they say, the S word rolls downhill. Well, the truth of the matter is that it does. It starts at the top, and if the coach and the mentor or the people who are running the program are not excited about what they're doing, they're not motivated, they may or may not have the know-how, but can they elicit a response from an athlete that makes him want to work hard for them? And that's number one. Number two is expectations. What type of expectations are set up for the athlete in order to achieve their goals? And there are two types of expectations. There are those that are imposed by the mentor and those that are self-imposed expectations. So we focus on getting athletes or relaying expectations for our athletes that center around getting stronger, building that muscular balance, and that all helps that attitude move forward. I like to challenge my athletes with things that they don't think they can do, because that's when they do achieve it, that's when you see them grow and actually become different people. It's incredible. And the environment. Is it an environment that's designed for comfort? Is it an environment that's designed to pamper you? Or is it an environment that the athlete is completely focused and all the effort is concentrated on one thing and one thing only, and that's on becoming a better athlete? Well, here at Strength Camp, that's exactly what we do. There's nothing fancy, nothing fluffy, nothing shiny about what we do here. It's hard work, discipline, dedication, and we're committed to taking athletes from being at the bottom and bringing them to the top. Well, I hope you found that helpful, and I'm hopeful that you could use that information in designing programs for your athletes. Now, I'd like to offer you if you feel like this is something that is interesting to you and you think that Strength Camp might be the right program for you, then I'd like to offer you a free trial session, a workout here at Strength Camp, along with an interview, because we'd like to see if you're the right type of candidate to work here at Strength Camp. And I have to be completely honest with you here. I am the owner and the coach here at Strength Camp, so you know that means that my time is limited and the amount of athletes that we can train here is limited. And I can only take up to 20 athletes per season. And currently, well, as of this morning, there are only 17 spots left. So I am just inviting you to call as soon as you can in order to set up that trial session to see if this is the right program for you and to see if you're the right type of candidate for us here at Strength Camp. All I need you to do is to fill out the form below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. The form below is somewhat of an application. I'll get your information through that. I'll give you a call and we'll set up a time for you to come here and train at Strength Camp. Also, if you have any questions or concerns or aren't too sure, you can feel free to give me a call on my cell phone, which is 727-501-6811. Well, once again, my name's Elliot Hulse, and I hope to be working with you again soon in the future. Thanks.